Hey everyone, welcome back to my personal channel, Social's Awkward. My name is David Vidal. Today I want to talk with you guys about some sweet spots on your Campagna TRex. 4 items actually, so I'm going to do this video in one shot and then break it up into 4 smaller videos to make it a little more palatable. That way you guys can be searching out the content that you want instead of sifting through one really long video. In this small series of videos, I'm going to talk to you guys about the rear view mirror, the ECO indicator, your stride line, and the ever-elusive power band. These are the sweet spots of the Campagna TRex. Let's go! All right, let's just take these things one at a time. The first thing that I want to talk about is the rear view mirror on the TRex. So if you guys are anything like me, when you got into the TRex, the first thing that you noticed was that that rear view mirror was more of an obstruction than it was a help. And I know many individuals who are taking these rear views out. They're just opting for their side mirrors. And I want to share some stuff with you that I think might help to inform that decision before you pull that thing out. I was wrong about some stuff regarding the rear view mirror that I want to share with you today. Some things that I discovered that you will only discover by riding in the TRex. But before I get into that, let's just talk about riding safety in general. There are really 4 things that you need to consider in general when you're talking about riding safety. That is, you need to be able to go fast, stop fast, have good dexterity, and a full view. Let me clarify. When I say go fast, I don't mean that every time you go to the grocery store or out to dinner, you're traveling at 110 miles an hour. What I mean by go fast is part of motorcycle safety, and I would also consider this applicable to the TRex safety. Because you're smaller than any other vehicle on the road, because you're largely unseen, very often you need to be able to goose your way out of a situation. Sometimes a little power burst to avoid a dangerous situation is the right call. So it's one of the reasons why you shouldn't always be maxed out on your power band, which I'll talk about a little bit later on. Shouldn't always be going really fast, and you shouldn't keep your tack really low either. You want to have some power at your discretion to be able to pull out of a situation quickly if you need to. And so that's maybe one of the habits that you'll want to develop as you become a better rider, just being conscious of how your vehicle sounds. That's really going to be the indicator of whether or not you've got a lot of power left underneath your foot. Now in the TRex, it's not really that big of a deal because these machines are so bloody powerful as it is. You can get down and gritty in just about any situation, but there is definitely a spot on your TRex that you're applying full torque and full horsepower, and those are the things that's a really important tool at your disposal when you're talking about riding safely, is just to be able to kind of goose your way out of a situation. In contrast, there are other times where braking is the right answer. You want to be able to slow down as quickly as possible. So you want that gas pedal to be responsive. If you pull your foot off the gas, you want the machine to slow down very quickly. If you step on the brakes, you want it to slow down very quickly. So go fast, stop fast. You need to have dexterity, which just means that you're nimble, like you're capable of making a fast or defensive or evasive maneuver in case something happens on the road. Maybe there's some debris on the road, which I'm going to talk about when we discuss the stride of the TRex. Or maybe you're just evading somebody who's blowing a red light, which reminds me just another really good safety tip that I've brought in from the motorcycle world that you guys might want to apply to your TRexes. Is I know that it's really exciting to be at a red light, and if somebody pulls up next to you and you kind of, the acceleration in the TRex is a really fun part, but the red light to green light is not, unless you're on a track, that's not really the opportunity to show off your jump off the line. As much fun as that is, and I will grant you, it's a ton of fun and we all do it, but the reality is whoever jumps off the line first in traffic is going to be the first one to get hit by a red light runner. So now more than ever, drivers are so distracted. Everybody's looking at their cell phones. Don't be the guy that jumps off the line when the light turns green. I know it's really fun, but save that for the track. Save it for a safe area, because if you're going to get smoked at an intersection, it's going to be because of a red light runner. And if you insist on being the first guy across the intersection, you're the guy that's going to get hit. So it's better for you, when the light turns green, just look to the left and right before you start creeping out into that intersection, and you'll have many more fun times ahead of you. So not to belabor the point, you want to be able to go fast, stop fast. You need to have dexterity, and you also need to have a clear line of sight. You need to have clear vision. So obviously the TRex has an open cockpit that's very awesome. You can kind of look around and see everything, but it's not like a motorcycle in that on a bike, you can actually turn your head and almost get a good 360 view. Obviously you can't, spin your head like The Exorcist, but you can look over each shoulder and get a really good view. On the TRex, when you're driving, you can do that on the left, but when you do that to the right at about 3 o'clock, you start losing good vision. You start missing some stuff over on that side. And that's one of the things that I had to work very hard and very intentionally on overcoming in the TRex, because listen, it is mission critical when you're on your TRex that you be a confident driver. You need to have great confidence. If you're making an evasive maneuver, if you're making a safety maneuver, if you need to goose out of a position, if you need to slow down to evade something, if you're having to jerk the wheel to the left or the right to avoid something in the road or avoid getting hit, you need to be confident. If you're making a lane change, you need to be confident. If you're wrapping out your TRex and having fun, you need to be confident when you're changing lanes. And if you can't see behind you, if you don't know who's on the side of you, man, you can injure yourself, you can injure somebody else. These things get serious very quickly. That's one of the things that I had to spend the most time on when I first got my TRex, is getting confident moving to the right or making a right-hand lane change, because around 3 o'clock you start losing good vision, and definitely over your right shoulder there's some blind spots back there, and you don't want to be clipping other cars. And if you're spending a lot of time, I know a lot of you guys are very confident in looking in that small mirror on the right hand side, but if you're going very quickly and now you've got speed, you've got vibration, and you don't exactly know who's over to the right, you don't want to spend a bunch of your time staring into that mirror trying to see if there's something. You want to be able to see very quickly so that you can make a fast decision. So this is actually where I was wrong about the rear view mirror in the TRex, and why I'm so glad that I have one. Now, first of all, I took the original rear view mirror out because it was basically just a mirror, and then when you put it in reverse, a little like 1 inch by 1 inch camera display popped up in the corner showing what was behind you. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm over 40, and that little display is not really doing me very much good at all. So I opted to replace that entire rear view with a digital rear view, and there was a couple of options. There's a clip-on option, like a mirror that will clip onto your mirror, but as thin as those are, they take up way too much space in the cockpit. There's just not enough room in there. So I opted for this one called Full View by Brand Motion, and I'll put a link in the description below so that you guys can check it out yourself. Again, I'm not going to tell you about all the features. That's not what this video is about. Brand Motion actually has their own video where they go through and they tell you everything that it does, but you get a wider view. All your blind spots are gone. You can record while you're driving. You can set it to record in case somebody, you go to a car show or you park in a parking lot and people come up around your TRex. You can actually record all that. So that's pretty cool. Those are just some of the features. And I'm not going to unbox it as well. It's already installed in my TRex. So that's not what this video is about. I just want to tell you a little bit about it and why I was wrong about the original rear view. So I thought that this rear view was going to solve all my problems, and that I was going to immediately have my confidence restored in what was going on to my right. Now, I will say that this is an amazing piece of equipment. I highly, highly recommend it. But there are times during the day, especially, where you can't really see the LCD screen that great. You can still see it, and you can still use it, but I find myself looking at it too much. and I just want to be able to glance at it. And it was while I was out practicing and just riding around that I realized that there are some really, really nice sweet spots in your rearview mirror. So the Brand Motion, this particular mirror that I got, there's a button on the bottom that you can hit, and it turns the screen off, and you can use it as a traditional mirror. And I have found myself using this as a mirror way more than I thought I ever would. And as you guys know, when you just first sit down into your TRex and you look in your rear view or you look behind you, all you're going to see is the intake tubes and the engine cover. But there's actually a sweet spot there that I want to show you guys. So I'm going to look at the same pictures you're looking at and talk to you about it. Okay, so forgive my lack of photography skills. This is inside my doghouse here, just looking into the rear view. So you can see that there's not much going on in that rear view. But if you look really closely, you can tell that there's a sweet spot there between the air tubes and just over that right corner where the frame makes a little triangle, just over the passenger's right shoulder. And those two sweet spots are really, really helpful and what I use this mirror for. So in this next picture, you'll see that I've pinked those out. And again, forgive the crude Photoshop work here, but I'm not trying to make a driving lesson. I just want to share some stuff with you guys, and obviously this is going to take practice for yourselves. So this isn't a how-to video. Just want to show you some of these sweet spots that I found, because I think you will find them helpful as well. And one of the reasons why I'm so grateful that I didn't eliminate my rear view, like I have this rear view, and I really like it. As opposed to, there's a cool screen that people are putting on top of that canopy right there that serves as a rear view. But there's a reason why you might want to keep this mirror. So check it out. In this next picture, you can see that I've unpinked that section in between the air tubes. And if you see a car, you'll be able to see a vehicle back there. If they're close to you, you're going to be able to see if somebody's right behind you using that mirror. And I know it doesn't look like much in this picture, but believe me, it's more than enough. And the spot that I was most concerned about, which is that right-hand side, I'll switch over to this next view here. If you see a vehicle in that spot, then you know that it's not safe to move over to the right. And that has been so helpful to me. Just that little corner of the mirror has saved my bacon on more occasions than I care to admit, and has made me feel very, very confident in being able to make a right-hand lane change or evasive maneuvers to the right. So I use that in conjunction with that little round mirror, your typical passenger side mirror. You can use those together. One gives you a longer view, one gives you a shorter view, and between the two, you can have some confidence that the lane is clear behind you. So in this next picture, you can see I just turned the camera around so you could have a better idea of those two sweet spots. So you've got the one between the air tubes, where in this picture you can see a tree, and the one, that triangle that happens over the top of your passenger's right shoulder, where you can see some cleaning supplies back there. Those are the spots that you can see in the mirror to know if you've got somebody in your blind spot or not. And so jump to this next picture here. Here's an example. If you were looking behind you, if you were able to look this way and there was somebody in your blind spot, that's what you would see through the mirror. That's what it's showing you in that corner. So if you're struggling with your rear view, I highly recommend this full view from Brand Motion. There's a bunch of other options out there for you. This one's really cool because it doesn't take up any more of the footprint of your cockpit, and it hooks in with your original camera, even though it comes with its own camera, but it will hook into your original camera, so everything's OEM, everything looks tight and right. This mirror has become a really solid tool, and having spent so much time in the TRex, I really do appreciate having a rear view in it. So before you tear out your rear view, and before you put in that screen that goes on the canopy where you can only see behind you, consider or take some time rolling around with that mirror. Having it has really proved very, very valuable. And when I first saw the rear view in the T-Rex, I literally laughed out loud because I was like, what are you supposed to see out of that thing? But having spent so much time in it, I realized that there are some sweet spots, and I've actually grown to really love them. Anyways, I hope that helps. I hope that you guys ride safely, and as always, I can't wait to see you on the road.